Welcome to the Dysfunction Junkies podcast, where we may not have seen it all, but we've seen enough. And now, here are your hosts, Chrissy and Carrie.
Hello, junkies. I'm Carrie.
And I'm Chrissy. And we have a special treat for you today. Carrie, go!
Yes, we do have something exciting to talk about. Well, we have heard so much feedback about some of our best episodes, and especially when we aired our uncut version a few weeks ago of our Ash Wednesday episode. So we thought we would start a Flashback Fridays. What we're going to do is once a month, we will feature a throwback episode. And at times, these episodes, they might have extra content that we didn't put on the original version. Or maybe Chrissy and I will give you some insights from the show afterwards. Anyways, we are really excited about this. So for our first Throwback Friday, it's only appropriate that we start with our number one downloaded episode from the very beginning. The most dysfunctional time of year, the holidays. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Enjoy, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, Dysfunction Junkies, and welcome to your safe space. I'm Carrie.
And I'm Chrissy.
So today we are going to talk about, in light of the recent past Halloween and upcoming Thanksgiving holidays, we're going to talk about the creme de la creme of family dysfunction. The best time of the year, the holidays.
The lovely holiday season is upon us.
That's right. So Chrissy, where should we even start?
Oh, we're going to start with my favorite one.
Which is?
Halloween. It should be the only holiday out there. It's perfect.
Not a fan. Just not a fan. Why do you like Halloween so much?
Well, probably, first of all, didn't really understand why you would like it the most out of the holidays. And I say that because it's great while it's happening, but I am a lover of Christmas and Thanksgiving. I do like holidays, even though most of them have been disasters for me in the past and a lot of people. But because you don't really have any pressure of family for Halloween.
That is a great point. I never thought about that.
Yeah,
maybe I need to reconsider my thoughts on Halloween.
Probably. And maybe some people didn't get into Halloween, like maybe family and stuff doesn't really promote Halloween because it is not one of those holidays you could really muck up with family traditions.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is true.
It's a tough one.
It is. Yeah. We did not celebrate Halloween in my house. I think part of it was because we lived out in the country and, like I've mentioned before, there was 2 cemeteries and then there was like 2 older people. There wasn't really kids. So there was nothing to enjoy. There was no neighborhood community. There was no trick-or-treating. So, we just didn't celebrate it.
I don't know. You said you're by the 2 cemeteries. I think you're actually that was an ideal spot for party time for me, but
that could have been. But, it was like, that was Halloween all year round though for us because you lived on the house or the street with 2 cemeteries.
You're always staring at the cemetery. I gotcha.
Right. Exactly. And we kind of grew up with a ghost in the house. So, the whole ooh, ghost, scary. Well, that was common. That was every day for me. So every day was Halloween, I guess.
Yeah, you're definitely, that is going to be definitely your story to tell. I will sit here and be a good listener.
Maybe another episode will save that one. But,
yes.
Yeah.
Some people will be rolling their eyes at that because I have had some experiences myself, but we have some disbelievers in the room. And since there's only one other person, they know who they are.
Yes. DJ Nick.
Yeah, total disbeliever.
So did your family decorate for Halloween?
Yes. Back a long time ago when I was real little, we had those traditional Halloween decorations, those 1970s, 1960s, 70s, the ones you just tape up on your windows, the cats, the crazy, they're so retro, they're great.
Yes.
In fact, I think you can still buy them. I think I've tried to score them in the past and I probably need to get some new ones because they just really scream my childhood.
Yeah. We didn't decorate hardly at all. If we did any kind of decorating, it was the fall decorating. So you might have seen a pumpkin on our porch. You might have seen a corn stalk, that kind of fall thing that somewhat carries over with Halloween, but nothing in the fact of like no ghost in the yard or no spider webs anywhere or no stickums on the windows, none of that.
No. Well, some people get really, really out there. As an adult, I got more crazy.
Okay.
Now, we just pretty much stuck with those things on the windows.
Right.
A pumpkin was carved. That's pretty much it. Now, I was a little bit older, sort of going to junior high. My dad would decorate a little bit more. He happened to take, back when we used to get those great Happy Meals.
Oh, yeah.
With the pumpkin and the ghost and all of that. My father he basically destroyed these, some of them, which is kind of a bummer now, but stuck a hole in them, created these things, turned them into lights. By stringing lights through them. And he used to put on our front bay window where I lived. It looked like a pumpkin face.
Oh my gosh.
It was actually pretty cool because the two Happy Meal things were the eyes.
Oh my gosh.
And then he had a string of like pumpkin lights that were the mouth. So it looked very cool.
Right.
But it's kind of heartbreaking now to think that he put a hole in those Happy Meal buckets. And basically useless. I did salvage some that are not tampered with, but
that also means you got to eat a lot of McDonald's and Happy Meals.
Oh boy, did I!
Oh yeah, see that was
and it showed a lot times too.
That was a privilege in our house. That was like it's your birthday, you get to decide where you want to go out to eat, and it was usually McDonald's was the price range. So like McDonald's was like a once a year thing for us.
Oh my god!
I know.
I can't even. No, it was just like I only got the orange and the white pumpkins. I need the other color. I mean, how many? I got to keep going to get. Yeah, there was no control over that in my house.
Oh my gosh.
And
so
did you get my father's order wrong because then you had to do that's a whole other episode. When you got Dad's fast food order wrong.
Oh no.
Stay tuned for that.
There you go. So did you go trick-or-treating?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I did not go trick-or-treating until I was probably in 7th grade.
Oh my God.
I know. Well,
no, come on.
I'm not kidding you. I'm serious. Again, what am I going to do? Go to the graveyard, knock, 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 trick-or-treat to the grave? Come on.
Well, these days, people, they take their kids to, we saw this a lot later on growing up because some neighborhoods weren't safe.
Yes.
Or at least the families didn't think they felt safe there.
Right.
So a lot of times you would have
truck them
families
to the good neighborhoods.
They would.
With the better candy.
And when I was younger, I would get hostile about this. Like, who the heck is this? I don't know who these people are. But you get older and then you have kids of your own and you realize, you really just want your kids to have a good experience.
Yeah.
And you want them to be safe. Right.
Well, that is why I didn't go trick-or-treating until 7th or 8th grade. Because, again, didn't have a neighborhood, didn't celebrate Halloween. But when I was in, 7th and 8th grade, I had a friend who lived in a real neighborhood. And so I got to go over her house and go trick-or-treating with her and spend the night at her house. So I was one of those kids who infiltrated your neighborhood because we didn't have a neighborhood.
But you were grandfathered and you came with
I was grandfathered in.
Well, because you were resident. You were with a resident. You were with somebody. Yeah. I mean, that's allowed.
I had a pass.
You had a pass. Yes. So, oh yeah. There's a whole thing. We live in a neighborhood that has a specific Halloween time, which is established sort of by the families here and then is given out to the families through our HOA. Uh-huh. And we're pretty much strict here.
Yeah.
That... And this is a different animal where I live now compared to where I was. That it's just for neighborhood...
Oh.
Our neighborhood kids and grandchildren.
Do they shut the street down and have someone hall monitoring the streets?
No.
Oh, okay.
But if you give out that information about when our trick-or-treat times are, you can be tried and I bet hung.
Burned at the stake?
Yes. So don't you dare give out that top secret information. Because now where I grew up and where you grew up too, you had established trick-or-treat times depending on what side of town you were on. And, like you were outside of the city of Youngstown. So you probably maybe would have had a different time.
Yeah, we probably did.
Youngstown had its own time. And what's funny is you can sort of, what neighborhoods, if you look back at that now.
Yeah.
are safe and which ones aren't.
By what time?
Yeah, because I think in the city of Youngstown now, you have to trick or treat on Sunday between 10:30 a.m. and right after lunch, and then you're done.
Yeah.
And then you like look at somewhere like where you were in Austintown or
7 p.m. to
Boardman
9.
or Campville. I bet you can trick or treat there all day until midnight.
Exactly.
Those lucky people over there, you're lucky assholes getting all the candy.
What was your favorite Halloween costume?
I think I dressed up as like a vampire quite a few times. I am a big fan of, and our generation knows this, although you didn't participate as much, so maybe you don't. They're the costumes you would have got at Woolworth or the drugstores.
Yeah.
I actually know the name of these things because of the guy who sort of is the artist behind the whole idea of it, Ben Cooper. Costumes, which were those hideous, hard masks with a teeny tiny hole for your mouth and the little pinholes for your eyes. And then basically it was an elaborate garbage bag.
Yes.
With a design on it.
Ben Cooper.
Yes. And I have a t-shirt, which I should have worn, but it has the Ben Cooper faces on it. I'll have to wear it. Maybe we'll post it so people
that would
can
be
see.
Great.
It has the most famous Ben Cooper mask. Nowadays, you look at this and you'd have to say this is beautiful artwork. If you're a fan of that kind of pulp kind of type thing, it's really a unique type of thing, and they're kind of cool to collect. They came in these perfect little boxes.
Yes.
Where the mask was right in the little window.
Yeah, they're scary.
Oh my God, they were so exciting when you'd go and they had them all lined up in the store. Hills, Woolworth.
Kmart.
What's so funny is they have a commercial that floats around on YouTube advertising for those costumes at Halloween time and getting all your candy at Woolworths, and then they hold up this LP, a record album. They said, "This is like $1.79 with your purchase." I still have that album.
You do not.
Yes, it's a spooky Halloween album, and again, the artwork on these albums is fantastic. If you like that kind of stuff, So, well, now you never did, but when you did finally trick or treat, do you remember what you dressed up as?
The very first one I remember is the very first time I went to my friend's house, I was going to be a pirate because I had no concept of what this trick or treating and what physical labor it involved. I thought it would be great to have a peg leg. And so I got my jeans on and I had my leg like folded, like, bent. So in my jeans so that it ended at the knee. And then my dad cut off like a piece of wood or whatever and we tied it to the bottom. So I was literally hopping around on one leg because I was a peg leg. And so I get to my friend's house all excited, like, look at this great costume. And the my friend's mom and dad looked at me in total horror, like, how are you going to trick or treat? And I'm like, well, I hopped here, like, from the car. I'm like, it was no problem. I could do it. And they literally went and got crutches for me. They're like, yeah, you're not going to make it.
Oh my gosh.
That's how naive I was. Yeah, let's just say I think by 3 houses I went back and like I pulled my leg out of the jean and we had to like start all over. So
yeah, well, I'm guessing they were looking at you and thought, now she's become a liability because how am I supposed to run from the whole idea of Halloween is just getting from house to house quickly to get more and more of that junk in your bag.
I just never forget the look on the parents' face. They were just like, oh my God.
Well, hey, that's amazing. But your heart was in it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So how do you think that Halloween is dysfunctional, going with our theme of our podcast here?
Well, I'm sure there was always some level of dysfunction with it, but now the whole idea of having to think about it so early blows my mind. And people are trying to, look, when I was little, getting excited about something you knew was going to be coming up was fun.
Yeah.
But I'm talking, little.
Yeah.
You're a kid.
Right.
And I think it's so desensitizing when you go to a store in July or August even.
Yes.
And you see pumpkins. And I know they really push all this on social media and how fun it is. And people make these fun videos about how as soon as Independence Day is over.
Yeah.
I'm getting my pumpkins out, you know, and I feel like it sort of just takes away from that.
I know.
Because it's such a long buildup.
Yeah.
But
for what? To me, I like the buildup to Christmas, but for Halloween, like,
there are a lot of movies to get in that time period as time is going. And if you like movies, Halloween theme type stuff, you need to start watching them unless you just don't have a life at all. And that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
We could talk about scary movies.
Yes.
We've talked a little bit about this.
You introduced me to my very first scary movie.
How I don't remember this.
I know
the
you
movie,
remember
but I don't.
everything.
I know, but for some reason, I must have just did my damage and moved on.
Yeah,
so.
you damaged me, that's for sure. So I was always terrified of, like scary things, I just didn't like scary movies, but I remember like our sophomore year. No, it was probably our junior year because we met in sophomore year. So Halloween was probably already passed. It was probably our junior year that you got me to watch Children of the Corn.
I don't know how I pulled that off. But okay.
I think I watched most of the movie looking between my fingers. I'm just terrified. I don't even know if I got through the whole movie. So,
well, I'm surprised I started with that one because generally my go-to for traumatizing, and I have a friend who I grew up with in my neighborhood. If she's listening, she knows I'm talking about her right now. It was The Exorcist. That was always my intro to, let me see if I can get it so you can't sleep for a while and sit here and giggle at you while you squirm watching this stuff.
Yeah. And see, I think the reason why I finally got you not to watch that one or make me watch that one, it was just a little bit too close to home because we had a ghost in our house and being very Catholic, like that was just like taboo. I don't
understand how if you're Catholic, that's taboo. It's got a priest in it. It's got two priests in it.
I don't know.
It's perfect for the Catholics. Everybody run out from the Catholic Church and go, if you haven't seen it, shame on you.
I don't know. In fact, honestly, I can't say that I've watched that movie in its entirety, even to this day. I've seen pieces of it.
You know what I was really upset about? I don't know who cleaned up the floor after the little girl peed on it. It wasn't like the fact that she was like completely possessed by the devil. I'm like, man, this woman was having a party, and this little girl came down and ruined the whole thing because she urinated all over the carpet. Somebody's going to clean that up, right?
Somebody's got to clean it up.
Yeah, and get back to the party and get her back in her room. She's obviously a real downer for this event.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just not a Halloween fan. Just the more we talk about, the more I'm like, yep. Nope, can't do it.
Well,
and the decorations, I just have to get back to that because the decorations, they just, like right now, people are just filling, we're seeing the yards, people are starting to take things down because Halloween's passed, but still, some of them keep them up all year round, but then you got those inflatables.
Here we go.
Oh God,
inflatables.
What? Inflatables, yeah.
I never understood inflatables. They weren't always around.
No, that was a new thing.
Back in I don't remember them being a thing when I was real little, which would have been in the 70s, or when I was young, into the 80s.
I feel like they came around in early 90s.
Must have been in the 90s somewhere. And look, it's a great concept. And they do, and you get a way better representation of things with these lovely wannabe Macy's Day Parade inflatables. But you put them in your yard. I didn't understand the concept of them when they first came out, and I would see them and they started popping up literally, and I would drive past and I would be like, oh my God, there's like this big Halloween balloon of some sort in their yard, and I would drive by and be like, okay, it's lit up, it's night, it looks nice, and then the next morning I go out and I see the remnants of it laying on the ground, completely deflated.
Yeah.
And maybe this is a Youngstown thing, but I thought right away the first thing that came to mind was somebody drove by and shot these damn things down.
Oh my gosh.
I said, why are they not pumped? Somebody shot them. I guess that'll tell you. Don't put balloons in your yard. Someone's going to come by and just peg them out with a gun. So then I would drive by the next night, and the damn thing's up and smiling like an ass and waving at you, and I'd be like, holy shit, they pumped it back up. They must have gotten a nice little patch on that damn thing. And
Chrissy, you did not.
I didn't realize that you had to deflate them. I thought they just stayed pumped up until you took the shitty things down. So, and then the next morning I drive by and they're down again. I'm like, God damn it, somebody really.
They're dedicated.
They don't want that shit in your yard. Quit blowing that shit back up. Somebody keeps shooting. You better watch because it's not going to just be that's going to get shot. You're going to be walking around. Someone's going to nail you with a flipping bullet too. Stop blowing these stupid things up.
Oh my God.
I had no
Chrissy,
idea.
how long did it take you before you realized that?
Probably about 5 or 6 times driving by.
Oh my God, you're too much. But the sad thing is, I can totally understand why you thought that, given the general vicinity of where we live and things that happen here.
As soon as you see something laying in a yard that doesn't look well, you figured something got shot. Some got shot. You think somebody noticed? I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of the inflatables. Like, I think when it first started and they had like one, it was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But now, like even getting into the Christmas holidays, where people, they had all the decorations, and then, but now you'll go drive by a house that has like, I'm not kidding you. There's 2 houses that I swear to God have 50 or 60 of these inflatables, one after another. And I'm like, okay, that's just lazy. If you're gonna go out, do Chevy Chase National Lampoon's decorating.
I agree.
So I'm sure we'll talk about Christmas more closer to the season, but the inflatables at Halloween, or those really big, like 15-foot tall skeletons, really. And then they leave them up all year round.
Well, no.
And they put a Santa Claus head on the skeleton. Really?
Well, they're very devoted to their specific holiday.
Yeah,
I guess that's their holiday soul, There's Halloween, and they're going to go with it. I don't understand buying a black Christmas tree and putting orange lights on it and sticking the night before whatever that Tim Burton movie is, which I know I'm a movie person, but I didn't actually sit through 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I like the other stuff. I just haven't sat through that yet.
I guess I should say, though, too, is, this is just our personal experiences. These are our thoughts. These are our feelings. Yes. And for those of you that, are avid Halloween decorators and everything,
you love
it.
Halloween inflatables.
True. Hey.
Wonderful. There's an industry for that.
Right.
You're keeping people, I don't know exactly what type of people you're keeping in business, but you're keeping people working.
And I am an advocate of you do you. But
yes.
Yes. So absolutely. So, hey, you do you. You keep going. I'm just saying, for me, I don't get it, but I respect the dedication that people have to it.
And they are dedicated. And probably the only way you can scare me is if you sneak to where I live and you put up an inflatable in my yard and I wake up and there's this crazy balloon staring at me.
Oh my gosh.
That would be terrifying to me. Nothing else. Not The Exorcist, except maybe the little girl peeing on the floor. So, and Halloween, when you think about it, it is like a totally dysfunctional idea, though.
Yeah.
First of all, it's based on dead.
Right.
Death, they say, it's about people that one night of the year that the dead people can come back.
Right.
Oh, whoever started that rumor, not exactly sure about that. Somebody obviously wanted people to stay home. And then
they loved their family so much they actually wanted them to come back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know that.
I don't know. That would be interesting. You get dressed up as something else.
Yeah.
So you get to pretend, which is okay, wonderful. And you go and you beg for stuff at people's houses.
Yeah.
And sometimes you say horrible things about smelling feet and stuff. I never understood that.
Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure you want to do that. These days you might get something you're not bargaining for.
This is true.
Careful, kids.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Halloween. I do love Halloween. I like Halloween decorating.
Yeah.
I like the Halloween. Not so much as I've gotten older. I'm not into the scary movies. I've not seen all these new finagled Saw. I never saw a Saw.
Never saw Saw?
Never saw it. Just because as you get older, at least for me, it's just a little too... Life becomes scary in itself.
Yep, that is a really
And
good
I don't
point.
need something to try and scare me. I'm terrified.
I can do it on my own.
Yes. And
I get scared going through the car wash. I mean, and that'll be a whole nother episode. But yeah, I don't need to put visuals in my head on watching a movie.
No. But my favorite thing, though, if you really, I think people our age, and if you're younger and you enjoy this too, the cartoon Halloween stuff. I love the pumpkin that couldn't smile with Raggedy Ann and Andy.
Oh
I love it. It's hilarious. My husband, who I don't think watched any of these things too much growing up. I mean, of course, he saw The Great Pumpkin with Charlie Brown, the typical stuff. The Garfield Halloween special was big once we were kind of in junior high, but still, that's a classic. There's a Casper Halloween out there that used to run. There's this one that only I kind of know about. Other people probably know about it. But when I had my husband watch it, he was like completely upset that I wasted 22 minutes of his time watching this.
22 minutes of his life.
I think it was 22 because I think that's what a show usually runs. What
is this?
It's called The Halloween That Almost Wasn't. And anybody out there who knows what that is, I love you to death because this is one of them weird things. You got to pull it up on YouTube. Judd Hirsch from Taxi.
Oh,
plays Dracula.
Oh.
And you got like all these people from like the 70s dressing up as monsters. The one guy from Laugh-In is in it. Marriott, is it Hartley is the witch.
Oh my.
And it's basically, the witch is basically sick of Dracula getting all the press. And she doesn't understand why he's like in charge of all the monsters.
I'll have to watch this.
And she threatens to basically quit.
Oh.
And Halloween can only start if she flies over the moon on Halloween night.
Oh.
So now Transylvania, which is full of a bunch of Americans, which is weird. But all these American kids dressing up for Halloween in Transylvania are upset because the witch is threatening to quit and there's not going to be a Halloween without her.
Oh, no. What are we going to do?
So now Dracula's got crunch time. And he's going to have to figure out what to do with this dumb bitch who's going to cancel flipping Halloween on him. So he's, going crazy trying to figure that out. He basically has to meet some of her demands. And it ends with an awesome disco party. At the end.
Oh, all right.
This is before the dawn of 1980, people, so.
All right. Well, my homework tonight is going to be to find that on YouTube.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Very good.
My husband especially finds it very funny when Judd Hirsch is a bat and then he runs into the crypt door and turns into a vampire again and makes a stupid sound. Look for that, people.
So as we put Halloween behind us, now we're going to get into the real family time of the year.
Yes, the start of everyone's nightmare.
Exactly. Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to begin. My anxiety, just even saying that word, my anxiety just went to like level 8. Like my chest got tight. Like,
how many people at that day look at the bird on the table and think that that's the luckiest thing in the world? That dead carcass in the middle of your table is the one that got lucky that day.
I'm never going to look at Thanksgiving the same now. Oh my God, you caught me off guard on that one, but that's so true.
Anybody having ham that day? I don't know.
We've never did ham in my house.
No, we didn't either.
Not for that holiday. Every major holiday was turkey. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, always turkey.
Wait a minute, Easter?
Oh yeah, Easter was, Easter too. And now, now that I'm, married and my husband, he's always like, he loves ham. And he's like, do we ever get ham?
Oh my God.
No. So I'm only now recently in the past, 15, 20 years, I've started to introduce ham on these holidays because of him, because growing up it was turkey.
Well, my husband would love that because he actually prefers turkey. We only used to do turkey for Thanksgiving. And then you never saw it again. And then we had ham generally for the other stuff. And of course, Italian dishes, which we can get into later on too. But
I wonder if it had to do something with the cost of it. Like, is turkey cheaper than ham? Maybe that was why we didn't do it that well. That and because of the size of the family,
yeah, you had a way.
We had. I mean, there literally were times we probably had 30 people. Like the dining room table would extend all the way out into the living room, form an L shape to go into the living room. And it was just like, and then somewhere the kids' table was shoved somewhere. I mean, we had so many people. It was, oh my God, no wonder my anxiety. I need to go take a pill.
You're having a flashback.
I know. I'm having PTSD.
Ours was not that big. And again, we could touch on this, but you brought up the kids' table.
Yeah.
And I'm having a flashback because I was basically the youngest out of everybody. There was a point where, and the kids' table was still something that was respected.
Really?
You had to be a certain age to graduate to an adult table. And I was the last one at that kids' table. So
crazy.
Everybody
It's because we were the
that.
youngest.
Yeah, I sat there by myself. And you don't think you could squeeze one more? I'm only 5 or whatever. I could squeeze in. I'm small.
They made you sit by
I had
yourself?
to sit at that damn thing by myself.
That's horrible.
You know what?
Why even have another
Considering
table?
the people at the adult table, I was like,
you and the turkey were probably the lucky
This
ones.
was the best table in the house, assholes. Thank you. I'd rather sit here instead of sitting with you. So, yeah. And then maybe somebody tossed me some damn food because there was no food on the kids' table.
Right.
You had to have somebody prep your plate for you. But yeah, you had to. And I never really got the experience of sitting at the adult table with my grandparents because I was still pretty young by the time like my grandparents started kicking off.
Right.
So
yeah.
by then
Same.
it was just like we're not having grandparent and cousin dinners anymore. It's just immediate family.
Yeah.
So.
We still, I mean, yeah, my grandparents pretty much passed away when I was younger too. So, but we still always had so many. Well, that because my sisters were so much older that they were already procreating. And so, there was their kids. And then mom would bring in the local priest. They'd come in, cause
What?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Like if the priest didn't have anywhere to go for Thanksgiving, it would be not uncommon that the local priest and brothers, from the monastery would come and have Thanksgiving with us. So,
No, ours was
or whatever
closed.
strays, people strays that, were around town and didn't, they
Oh
would
my
run into
God.
like, oh, you have nowhere to go for Thanksgiving? Come to our house. So
Oh my gosh.
it was exciting.
Wow. No, ours was closed session. Even though the people who were involved in it maybe didn't want to be there, but it was closed. Yeah. No extra. Wow. You guys are really nice people. I can't believe that. Priests. And...
But so much. Okay. But then on the dark side of it, there was so much trauma and abuse that happened during these times of year. And it was like the more people that were there, like it was like you would think that things couldn't happen because there were so many people there. But it was like everyone, again, elephant in the room. We don't talk about things. We don't look at things, whatever. So I just have a lot of anxiety about the holidays, about being around people, that many people, it's why today that I like to have nobody around on the holidays. I want it to just be me and my husband. We often will find excuses to go on vacation during the holidays or have a Friendsgiving holiday, like because it's the anxiety. I can't handle it. It's too much.
Well,
it's PTSD.
Moving out of town. I'm not that far, but I'm far enough.
Yeah.
And just getting older and things happening for a long time now. My husband and I and my kids, we've pretty much just done the major holidays together. Friendsgiving sounds wonderful.
It's so good.
But in general, outside of me and you being able to connect again, friends aren't anything I'm that having friends. I like people very much, but never enough to really partake a holiday.
Yeah.
That seems amazing to me. And I envy that. And I think it's...
maybe we should do that.
We should try it. It would be fun.
We could do that.
It would be fun. But I'm sorry for that. But I understand. And I do envy anybody who can do the vacation thing during holidays because it's probably...
It's nice.
You're going to be stressed out doing the holidays and staying home. You might as well be stressed out and travel. At least you're going somewhere nice.
Exactly.
So it makes total sense.
The one time we drove to Tennessee on Thanksgiving, and it purely was to get away from my family. So we went to Tennessee to visit my husband's sister. And I don't know, it was like 9-hour drive or something. It was like the worst drive. It was the most desolate kind of, it was like, are we ever going to get there? But it was still worth it because once we got there, his sister's normal. It was just like 4 or 5 of us, there. It was real nice. It was quiet. It was exactly what I wanted. But the drive there was so bad. But I was like, I'd still rather do that drive than be in the normal holiday Thanksgiving. Oh, yeah, it's too much. I can't. And the food, I just like everything revolves around the food. Like so much food.
I do love food and I can understand. I can appreciate a holiday that worships the food and not anything else.
It's
not, a baby or any of that other stuff. The food worshiping.
Well, but here's what I didn't like about it was my mom insisted that the food had to be on the table. So she would we had to everyone pass. Well, when you've got 30 people around the table, by the time you pass here's the corn, here's the mushrooms, here's the turkey. By the time you get everything, it's all freaking ice cold. You ain't eating hot food.
Well, some of them plates probably came past you empty by then, too.
Exactly.
Depending on where you sat.
Exactly. So we would always say, Mom, can we just do buffet style? Like that way people
you guys definitely
it would be
should have been
quicker.
doing that.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Even to this day.
That's the Norman Rockwell picture she was going for.
See? Because they wanted to
that
make
terrible goddamn picture, that painting that guy did, gives all these people this false idea that, and who the hell comes to the table with a whole goddamn turkey intact?
I know. Why?
We never did. We
No.
butchered the shit out of it. It was
Saw
cut. It
that.
looked like Freddy Krueger took out a whole turkey. 'Cause nobody had a sharp enough knife. Forget that electric knife shit. What the hell was that? That just made a bunch of noise and it just like sawed into everything. Bones.
You had parts of bone in your...
Yeah, I never understood how they show the people doing that and they're like cutting it like butter. Oh, look. Oh, this works so good. The Remco, whatever that,
Right.
the commercial
Remco.
used to, hey, you remember those great commercials? The thing that used to clean your records and the electric knife.
You're right.
Yeah, everybody and the Mr. Microphone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we just hacked the shit out of it. And just,
Right.
I mean, we were like complete chaos. Some of shit was on the table. Some you had to go over across the room and find it. You know, if somebody had something on their plate, you're like, where the hell did you get that? And there's, over there in that corner. Oh, wow. So you'd be like doing a scavenger hunt, trying to figure out where all the little lost tidbits are. There's like some really good stuff here. So I appreciate what your mom was trying to do.
Yeah, but
And I totally get why.
Yeah, but I refuse. If I host any kind of party or whatever, it's buffet, and there's no other way we're doing it. So.
I hate to say
okay,
this,
but now here's
no, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Here's the big question. Now, your family, I think, partaked in a little bit alcohol different than my family because there's just differences of how we grew up. But the only time of year that we had any kind of alcohol in the house was Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter. And what we had was Mogan David wine. Have you ever had Mogan David wine?
Never heard of it till right now. Please enlighten.
Nothing to write home about.
They still sell it?
Oh, yeah. Still sell it. It's still on our table.
The country of origin, please.
I have no idea.
Oh, somebody needs to send us some information
United
on
States.
this. Oh, okay.
Trust me, I'm sure it's nothing expensive, but it's very, very strong, sweet dessert wine. I tell you what, I'm not a wine drinker, but man, I guzzle that shit down during the holidays. Really? It's the only way I get through.
What's really sad with my family is, yes, my father liked to have a cocktail.
Yeah.
He was a social drinker.
Yeah.
My one sister probably not, would drink socially, but not so much. I enjoyed it very much at certain times in my life, maybe a lot.
Yeah.
My other sister would also enjoy having beverages. But what's weird is we never really had it during the holidays, which is when you should have been downing it. That's weird. I think we really wanted to torture ourselves. If you're going to have to do this,
You have to do it sober.
you got to do it clean and sober, baby. Nothing here. When you leave, whatever you do is up to you. Probably that's when all the drinking really occurred. You went home and you just drank in the corner crying at the waste.
You had a roadie on the way there.
Yeah. But no, my family was really funny because we really just didn't.
So funny.
It's so, I never thought, man, this whole thing with this,
I know.
anything else is making me realize certain things.
Yes.
We should have been drinking during.
It's the only way I get through the holiday
had a
these days.
grandfather who we're not allowed to say he was an alcoholic.
Oh,
because
of course. You normalize things.
It's normalized.
You normalize it, right?
Yes, we're going to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
He was normalized. That's normal for him.
Right.
Gramps drinking a big jug. Have you ever seen a big jug of
Yes.
wine? Carlo Rossi? Is that the name of it? That horrible wine that comes in a jug. It looks like you should put pickles in there or something. I don't know what the hell it was. My man loved the Carlo Rossi. And
I
that was
think
his
the
thing.
reason why they might have liked the Mogan David, now that I think about it, is probably the church wine. That might have been what they served at church.
How is it? I don't know what. I got to look this up when we're done.
I'll bring you a
Mogan?
Mogan David. It's a
Spell the last. It sounds like David, but I don't think you're saying David. What are you saying?
I think it is David. Mogan. Mogan.
Does
David.
our producer know
Yeah,
anything about
DJ
this?
Nick, Google this on your phone. So, Mogan David. I'll bring you a bottle next time we get
Was
together.
it strictly red or did it come in white? Did it come in a
don't know.
rosé?
I think, but it's very dark red. But now that I think about it, it might be like church wine. And that's probably, but what I'm saying is, that was the only time of year that really they drank. Maybe my dad might have had a Rolling Rock or something. Really, they didn't drink. Even the kids at the table were allowed to have it, but we had to put a little Sprite in it. So, like...
Ooh, that's not a good mix. I would have opted for the Seagrams. If you're going to make me put 7-Up or Sprite in this, can we change it up from Mogan David to... somebody got some Seagram 7 in there.
Oh, God. So...
Wow.
That's a lot. That's a lot. But yeah, so that's the holidays that we're getting into now.
Everybody
Halloween
enjoy
to Thanksgiving.
all of that. That is the best.
So I'm sure like in an upcoming episode, we'll recap our Thanksgiving and then we'll lead into Christmas.
Yes, the big Christmas
big
episode.
Christmas.
Everybody It's probably been decorated for Christmas for months already. And,
Exactly. Well, I want to tell you, thank you so much for joining us today. All of you listeners out there, this is what we do. This is our therapy. Now, we are not licensed therapists, but this is how we have gotten over some of our childhood trauma. We laugh about it. We talk about it, enlighten ourselves about it.
We share it out there with all of you so that you can remember all the trauma you had. I mean, we don't want you to go without remembering that you also had this trauma.
You did.
If you were sitting there driving in your car thinking, wow, wait a minute. This happened to me too. Oh my God.
And if you didn't have this happen to you, oh God, you're so lucky.
Are they though?
Yeah. Probably.
I mean, come on.
I'm sure they have some other dysfunction because we all do. We're
Yes.
all messed up. We're all broken.
And we
so.
love to hear about those
Yes.
dysfunctions. How were your family dysfunctions fun?
Yes.
Let us know. We love to hear, and we want to be able to see if we have anything in common with what you've experienced.
Exactly. So I think we'll put some polls up on our Facebook page. Maybe we'll talk about what kind of Halloween decorations that you had, and maybe we'll do a poll on, did you have turkey or did you have ham, or maybe you really spiced it up and did something totally different and had Chinese food. I don't know.
Cajun.
There you
That'd
go.
be good.
So, but in the meantime, check out our Facebook
I'm
post.
sure that I'm going to get some hatred over them balloons. I mean, whatever they're called. I'm sorry, people. You love them. You got them. You're allowed to have them.
Again, you do you. You do you.
I'm going
We
to
support
drive
it.
by, though. I'm probably going to think somebody shot them when they're deflated in the morning.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Check us out on our Facebook page. Also, wherever you're streaming our podcast from, please give us a 5-star review so we can keep coming at you. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.